I think a second element, and maybe there's a good thing to go out on, is this idea of the argument from religious experience, right? I mentioned earlier that William Alston, he had this deep religious experience when he went to Oxford. And I think that very often when people have these experiences of God, it's this deep sense of God's love for them, right? That God cares for them. And interesting enough, Alston, when he did his philosophy of religion stuff, he wrote a lot about how these religious experiences actually have a lot of epistemic value, that we should not dismiss them. They actually they can tell us about reality in many ways. And of course, we don't have time to go into all that, but I think the arguments that he's put forward are for um, the strength of religious experience are actually pretty strong. I personally haven't seen very good arguments, like counter arguments against them, and so because of that, I think that um, the possibility of having these religious experiences can also give us very direct evidence of God's love and care and of His character um, uh, to us in a very direct way. And what's interesting is like God does this on a pretty regular basis if some of these testimonials um, are to be believed. So William Alston experienced this. I know two contemporaries of mine who are at Oxford, professional philosophers, both of which they were agnostics. They weren't sure whether God was real. And they were looking into all these arguments and like, I'm not sure if God exists, pro and con. And they asked God, are you real? If you are real, show yourself to me. And both of them had like profound experiences of God. Like one guy, he said that right after he asked God, like, show your reality to me if you are there, he said that he felt like this fire at the top of his head, and that slowly, like this fire filled his entire body from head to toe. He was like, "Okay, God, you are real, right?" And so I think that that kind of experience is like, you can learn firsthand that God is real and that God cares for you and God loves you. Because like, if God was deistic and just hands off, He would not answer those kind of prayers, right? Whereas if He does answer those kind of prayers, then it seems like this is pretty good evidence that He knows about you and He cares about you, right? So I think that anyway, so I think that that's a beautiful mixture of
Mhm.
both the philosophical arguments as well as kind of experiential components of like encountering God's reality.
Yeah, I think people do oftentimes they throw away experience like very easily. I think which it can be a little bit misleading. I know there was this one press conference where one person came up to Richard Dawkins and he was like, "Well, I've had this experience," and then Richard Dawkins proceeds to berate him for quite a little bit, which was it was not nice to see. Um,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. There is kind of merit within experience, which can be kind of weird to say. I think people like Plantinga would probably back it up, especially with this whole idea of proper basic belief, which I
Hmm.
guess in a way can work in harmony with the idea of experience. Um, yeah, but I guess that was my final question.